Welcome back to JK Rants and Reviews. I'm John. This is Caleb. Today we're going to be ranking the live-action Batmans from 1989 and forward. Let's go with the worst. Caleb, what's your worst?
George Clooney.
I freeze. I'm Batman.
I mean, just hands down, George Clooney. Now, don't get me wrong. Once every 3 or 4 years, I get a wild hair, and I've got to watch Batman and Robin. I saw it when I was a kid.
It's so good to see how bad it was. Oh, I remember my mom bringing the VHS copy home, and I was waiting for her. I knew it came out. I was waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoyed the crap out of it when I was a kid.
If anybody else is watching this, I got to go see it, and you're from KCK too. I went to go see it at Indian Springs Mall when it came out. I was thrilled, and of course I was little, so I loved it. But then once I hit a little bit older, I was like, oh my god, this movie was awesome.
Can you imagine being a 20-year-old though when that came out? You're just sitting right here yeah, it's great. Uma Thurman.
And you're just sitting there and you're like, I remember Batman Returns. I do think that this movie was a bad movie, but I can see George Clooney as a Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
One thing that I would say is negative is him as Batman.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I mean, George Clooney's gotta be at the end, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, he made a decent Bruce Wayne, but when he's in the Batsuit, the writing, the direction.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone.
Schumacher, I can't believe after Forever they brought him back. I mean, a couple things worked in Forever.
The car, right? Chicks love the car.
It's not a bad movie, but he doubled down on everything that was bad in Batman Forever, and it was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good night.
I'm afraid that Val Kilmer is going to go next.
Really?
Now, I actually like Batman and Batman Forever. I don't like the movie that's around it, but I do enjoy his performance as Batman and his performance as Bruce Wayne. So it's kind of difficult to put him so low, but at the same time with the movie he got, The
difference? Showmanship.
And actually, after watching a lot of different YouTubers, apparently Val Kilmer was difficult to work with, I guess.
A lot of people say that this is the movie that helped end his career, the Batman curse, where after this, and Michael Keaton that suffered from it too, after this they just couldn't live up to crushing it as Batman and making big box office dollars. They just faded out. My next one would also be Val Kilmer. I love the actor. I think he does a pretty decent job as Batman. He does a decent job as Bruce Wayne. I think he's a little too pretty for both. I'm not trying to knock the guy.
Let's get real.
You know, the kind of blonde, light brown hair, and he just has the pretty lips. And he wasn't tough enough to me. He wasn't serious enough, and I also think he's a victim of the surroundings of the movie. Joel Schumacher, once again, bringing the comic books back to life and making everything a little too cheesy. And
Exactly.
some of the movie shines because of it.
Yeah. There's parts that really work for this, but the rest of it, you're like,
Just raises too many questions.
this is the actual introduction of bat nipples, people. You all blame George Clooney. No. It was Val Kilmer. This hurts me because these next three, I love all of them to death. I love all of their movies as Batman, and I watch them often. Next one's going to be Ben Affleck.
Why did you say that name?
This portrayal of Bruce Wayne is spot on. He has the detective skills. I mean, take Batman vs. Superman. He plays both the hero and the anti-hero so well. My dislike for this is that it was cut short. This is DC's fault for reaching too high and failing miserably. if we got more Batfleck, if we got the Flashpoint we were supposed to get, and we got Thomas Wayne too, I guarantee you he would probably be number 1 or 2 for me.
For me, and I know I'm going to catch a lot for this, but for me, number 3, third from the top, is Christian Bale. I love Christian Bale as an actor. He's fantastic. He's one of the best. I mean, he just is. I mean, he is the top actor out of everybody we're going to talk about. He just is. Unfortunately, though, it has nothing to do with his surroundings. The surroundings were perfect. It has nothing to do with the direction. I think the direction was perfect. His anger and his delivery to the camera, it was just kind of played out. Like, in the first movie, it was okay. Because you were developing the character, you saw the beginnings, it was the origin of Batman. In the second movie, it wasn't like, it just felt like he wasn't trying as hard. And Heath Ledger overshadowed him. He just did. And by the third movie, it was just kind of played out. Like, a broken down Batman didn't sound very angry and intimidating. Played a decent Bruce Wayne. I like the playboy. He wasn't very much like a businessman. He was more cocky, which is fine. It fit the character. But for me, the other two are just a little bit higher. Nothing negative, just the other two a little bit higher. All right. That is a little negative, I guess. I just got tired of swear to me.
And again, this is where we start to disagree. And this is just because they have to fall somewhere. Next for me is Michael Keaton.
That's second from the top. I mean,
yeah. Look, if I go back and I'm just gonna watch a Batman movie, it's usually one of those two. Like, it just is. And in my house, Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Fight me. He started the whole, oh no, he shouldn't be Batman, back in the 80s. Like, everybody was like, no, maybe, no. And then he came on screen and crushed it.
Yeah, he was the biggest, like, what is happening ever.
Nothing bad to say. I enjoy his performance. He's a big on-screen presence, and it's kind of surprising when you look at, like, his Batman versus, like, Ben Affleck, who was just huge. Mm-hmm. And then you look at Michael Keaton, who was, like, an average-built guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he got that screen presence right for an average-built guy, and that is something to say that he can pull it off as Batman.
I've got to say that my number 2 is Ben Affleck.
Do you plead? Will?
I think he's perfect. I mean, basically, he crushed it as Bruce Wayne. He crushed it as Batman. It's just perfect. His surroundings weren't necessarily perfect. Like, his direction was really good. I feel like they jumped the gun a little bit.
Yep.
I feel like he didn't necessarily need more time with the character, but we needed more time with him. Does that make sense?
So the opening scene of Justice League, where you got him on the rooftops and all that, that was so perfect. And we needed that movie with him like that. We needed that to be able to get this character right. And I do think that he would have been number 1 had we got that.
Right, I think he was just awkwardly short. You came in at not the beginning and you left at not the end. It was just a weird thing. So I nothing against him. I think he's perfect. I absolutely think he's perfect. I want more of Ben Affleck. I think he could be number 1, no questions, hands down, no question.
Yeah, I agree. So Christian Bale.
I'm Batman.
I see a lot of people's points about him over the top with the rage and all that. But something about that worked, in my opinion. Batman, so when the trilogy had first finished and all the movies came out, I would have said, hands down, Dark Knight is the movie I'll go watch the most. Now it's Batman Begins.
I've always said Begins is a better movie. Not more entertaining, but better movie.
I think it's interesting because this is something that we got with Batman that we didn't get before and we haven't gotten since, is the rise and the fall. Like, you get it all. Now, how some things were handled may not have been how I would have liked to see them. You don't get a detective in the Bruce Wayne character.
A little bit, but not as much as you should.
Yeah, and we all have some issues here and there with Dark Knight Rises, but overall, with what they had left, with the passing of Heath Ledger, I think they did a good job. I wish that Talia al Ghul wouldn't have been the same actress, because let's talk about that death scene. Straight out of a cartoon. But Christian Bale, I really enjoyed watching him become Batman. Like, I feel like it worked. He had a rage, he had a fire, and he was relatively new to it, which I feel like year one Batman, you kind of get that fire with him too. So this was a little bit more reminiscent of that.
Bruce Wayne. I'm Batman.
That I think that it is nostalgia, at least a little bit for me. I remember even as a kid, 1989 Batman was my jam. It has always been my favorite movie. It has never shifted. Always my favorite movie. I'm not saying it's the best movie I've ever seen, but it is my favorite movie. I think if you watch any Batman cartoon or movie other than the Christian Bale's, Batman has a lot of rage that he deals with, like separating himself from people and beating the bejesus out of people.
You missed.
I think Michael Keaton nailed that. I think the quiet rage of I'm Batman. Just that simple little, I could kill you, but I'm not going to, but I might at the last second. The subtle hints, the ability to maneuver in the cowl without being able to turn his head. He has the cinematography, the artistic angle to that you don't get a lot with the others. So that's our ranking. Let us know what you guys think. We want to see your ranking. Let's see what you got. Yeah. Shake it up. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, to be honest, like, even if you completely flip this list, I'm not going to pass judgment.
Unless it's Clooney. Unless it's Clooney.
I can get it. It's campy. It's fun. If you look at that movie from its own standpoint and based on, maybe seeing the Adam West style Batman, it has this fit towards that. So I can get behind that. If you don't want to sit and watch the dark and the gloomy Batman type stuff, I get you, because we have been raised in a society with so many versions of Batman. You've got it from light and sunny all the way to the darkest dark you can get, and trust me, the movies haven't even touched how dark it can get.
I do like the '66 Batman, but I like that because it's better for a certain age, and it's cool to like introduce kids to Batman.
I don't really like the Adam West Batman. I prefer what came before that, the black and white.
That's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the VHS.
The pack? Yeah, me too.
I tossed it. Yeah, I'm sad.
It's on YouTube.
Heck yeah, man.
Because it's what's it called? Where you're past that certain level of rights. Where
comes public domain.
Public domain. Yes.
Dang, it's that old.
Yeah.
Well. All right, guys. So make sure and like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get some more R&R. Till next time, JK out.
The vampire who glittered is going to be Batman.
That's awesome!